Ian Beale's future is decided in seconds, but the one person who can save him might not make it in time. And that's not even the biggest shock coming to Albert Square next week. Next week in EastEnders, everything changes. Ian Beale faces a possible prison sentence. Chelsea holds the truth that could save him. Gray Atkins is quietly building something dangerous. George Knight is falling apart. And Sharon Watts, she's about to hear something that could flip everything upside down.
But here's the thing, none of these stories play out the way you expect. So let's start with Ian, because this could be his last day as a free man. The pressure is unbearable. His family gathers around him, trying to stay strong, but everyone knows what's at stake. Then suddenly, good news arrives from his lawyer.
For a moment, it feels like things might actually go his way. But then, Ian makes a huge mistake. He breaks his bail conditions. And why? Because he knows there's one person who can change everything. Chelsea. He goes to her, desperate, almost begging. But Chelsea's reaction? Explosive. She shuts him down instantly. At this point, it looks like Ian has completely lost his last chance. But here's where things shift. Later, Chelsea confesses something to Kim. Guilt starts to take over. And suddenly, she decides to tell the truth in court. This is the moment that could save Ian. She calls him. She's on her way. Everything now depends on timing. The court is ready. The judge is about to deliver the verdict. But Chelsea is delayed. Spoiler 2. Gray Atkins' dark plan. Because while all this is happening, someone else is watching from the shadows. Gray Atkins. At first, it seems like Chelsea's just trying to do the right thing. She even opens up to Sheila about her role in Jordan's accident. But what she doesn't know is that Sheila is being manipulated. A word Chelsea says goes straight back to Gray. And Gray's reaction? Not what you'd expect. There's no anger, no explosion. Instead, something much more dangerous. Silence. Because that's when Gray starts thinking. And after a disturbance in prison, he begins to form a plan. A calculated one. Meanwhile, Sheila pushes her way back into Chelsea's life. But this creates a ripple effect. Denise finds out. And her reaction? Pure shock and anger. Everything begins to spiral. But the real danger isn't the family drama. It's the fact that Gray is now moving pieces behind the scenes. And the scariest part? We still don't know what his endgame is. Because over in another corner of Albert Square, George Knight is quietly breaking down. At first, it's subtle. A conversation from his past. A question about his father's burial. But that question hits deeper than expected. Because George is carrying a secret. A heavy one. The guilt of how his father died. And it's starting to eat him alive. Now George is alone. And instead of facing it, he runs. He ends up at Arthur's bench, drunk, emotional, completely lost. This is where we see the real George. Broken. Eve finds him and stays. And in that quiet moment, something unexpected happens. They connect. Not just over pain, but over something deeper. This could change George's path completely. But at the same time, Nicola is worried. She tries to reach him through Harry. And when they finally sit down together. And now, the moment that might actually shock you the most. It starts off simple. At the Vic, just casual conversation. Sharon and Kat gossiping. Nothing unusual. They talk about Linda, her new romance. Everything seems normal. Then later, so Elaine makes one off-the-cuff comment. Just a passing line. But that one sentence, it hits Sharon like a shockwave. She freezes, because suddenly something doesn't add up. And this is where the mystery begins. She doesn't react immediately. She doesn't confront anyone. Instead, she goes to Phil, looking for answers. Which means whatever she's discovered, it's serious. But here's the twist. We don't actually hear the full truth
Yet, it's left hanging. And that's what makes it so powerful. Because now we're left asking, what did Sharon hear that could change everything? So next week, everything is on the edge. Ian's fate hangs on seconds.
Chelsea races against time. Gray is quietly planning something dangerous. George is losing control. And Sharon is chasing a truth that no one saw coming. But the real question is, which of these stories is about to explode first? Because if there's one thing EastEnders does best, it's turning one